I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. We've got a great Christmas holiday season. It's back in action in a month, so go ahead.
Okay. Page,
Here.
Walsh,
Here.
Peters,
Here.
Childers,
Here.
Wolfersberger,
Here.
Cummings,
Here.
Rapp.
Here. There are no proclamations or appointments. Is there anybody signed in for public comment? Just here to watch again and. Okay. Consent agenda. We have consent agenda, which is consists of the regular board meeting minutes from December 9th, treasurer's report, the investment recommendations, approval of bills in the amount of $64,932.01, and the resolution for the motor fuel tax, maintenance motor fuel tax under the Illinois Highway Code. I assume everybody's had a chance to review these documents in their packet. Is there any questions or issues?
No. Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Walsh,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Childers,
Yes.
Wolfersberger,
Yes.
Cummings,
Yes.
Rapp.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
All right, new business, consideration and possible approval of extension of the request for proposal deadline for the village sanitary sewer system from the original date of January 23rd, 2026 to February 6th, 2026. You had a chance to review that document, request to extend by one of the potential bidders. Anybody have
Potential bettors asking for
the extension?
I say we approve this as presented. I make a motion, we approve this presented.
I'll second.
None. Okay, any other discussion?
Peters,
Yes.
Childers,
Yes.
Wolfersberger,
Yes.
Cummings,
Yes.
Rapp,
Yes.
Walsh.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Okay, at our last meeting, I believe, we had, the Department of Revenue had an issue with our ordinance, that we passed for the grocery tax. We also had a minor revision in our ordinance for the sales tax, correct?
Non-home rule sales.
Non-home rule sales tax. We've made that, Mark's made that change, and we have that newer version in the document. So we need to, if we're going to continue to do that, we need to approve that and get it back to Department of Revenue, but it won't affect when they start collecting.
It's already collected.
It's already being collected. This is a housekeeping item, basically.
This wording right there.
Oh. So the short version is that a model ordinance was developed by the Illinois Municipal League, and that's what everybody used. And it is correct, in my opinion. And then we represent a number of municipalities. We have gotten back a handful of these, and the changes are different between the municipalities, even though it's a model ordinance, so not the same corrections. So they got different people apparently reading each one of these when they come in. So I don't have an explanation for you. I think what you passed is perfectly valid, or else they wouldn't be collecting the tax for you, but it's good housekeeping, so we need to approve it.
Sure. Thank you. Any other questions?
I make a motion, we accept this minor change.
Any further discussion?
Childers,
Yes.
Wolfersberger,
Yes.
Cummings,
Yes.
Rapp,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Okay, the next thing up is consideration and possible approval of an ordinance amending chapter 6 to provide for board trustees meeting remote attendance policy. Post-COVID, there were some emergency rules in place. They changed the Open Meetings Act statute. And what we're doing is updating our ordinance to comply with the state statute, am I correct in that? Or,
It just gives you the ability to host, and you have certain, you can't just be gone because you're on Hawaii on vacation. You have to have one of the 4 valid reasons to be eligible. And then, it lays out the procedure, to be able to do it.
yeah, we hadn't updated since the post-COVID days, so we're just kind of a housekeeping ordinance.
The law has been changed to provide that you can do it remotely.
Yes, all those emergency orders,
Yeah.
most of them were written into the revised open.
Yeah, you can't do it because you're on vacation. You can do it because you're
If you're
sick.
with your family, you can.
So,
Well, the thing is, it has been, the law is in place where we could go ahead and do it remotely, correct?
that is correct.
Okay.
Only if we pass this ordinance, if not, that we can't do
Okay,
it.
my only, and I don't see anything wrong with it. I do think this might be putting a toe in the water, but I think you'll limit it once a month. You know, that's just my opinion, you know, I've got no problem, people want to go all the way, but I can see.
Well, the good news is if this somehow gets abused in the future, it just takes a majority vote to get rid of it.
So you're saying if you don't like my family and it could be abused?
As long as I don't like something for a legal reason, it's okay.
Right.
If it's an illegal reason, boy, you still get elected to vote, so I think you can vote however you want.
Well, a lot of those, I mean, I've read for different organizations, you can do that, but it didn't provide for voting, and that was what my question was, if they changed the Open Meeting Act to provide for that. If they can, I mean, my only suggestion would be to limit it to once a month.
Well, even if you just wanted to attend the meeting, and just, be on the TV and not do it through, what, are we on Facebook? YouTube. All right, but you want to join in and have a conversation, you couldn't do it unless we had this ordinance.
Well, I did at different times, but I didn't have voting power, I just had.
That's correct,
I-
but we should have had the ordinance for you to do it.
We're cleaning
There's
it
no
up.
harm, no foul, but you need to have this in place.
Well, that was my only stipulation about, once a month, but, I really don't have an opinion either way other than that.
Any other discussion? There a motion to accept the order, to approve the ordinance?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second, let's see.
Got in there.
You gotta be quick.
Fair.
Wolfersberger,
Yes.
Cummings,
Yes.
Rapp,
Yes,
Walsh,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Childers. Motion passed 6-0.
All right. Next up is consideration and possible approval of an ordinance providing for and approving the First Amendment to the St. Joseph TIF District redevelopment project area. If you've looked at this document, this exhibit, there is a very small piece of land in front of this daycare on Peters Drive. It's owned by Silco, right? I mean, technically, now Ameren, and it's just a little fenced in area with some transformers in it.
On an island, it's completely surrounded by village property, it appears, because the 2 lines are not. It's not on the edge, there's a little bit of a gap in between the 2 if you look closely at it, so it's just kind of an odd little parcel.
Yeah, it's off by itself. It's not in the village. Sure what that was. It's not in the village, and it shouldn't have been included in the TIF, so we, instead of adding it to the TIF, that's like going through the whole process again. But we can remove it from the TIF,
You go through this problem,
Go.
prescribed.
and go through this process instead.
could you tell them how much the tax revenue on that piece of property in question is?
I can't remember what we looked at, but
$14.
114, yeah, it's very, so minimal, very minimal.
So again, kind of a cleanup thing.
Is it normal for the utilities to not be in the village?
I don't think it is, because I think all of us, multiple people looked at this. Many people looked at this and no one caught it until the clerk's office was doing the process with it.
Utilities have easements, but I've never seen an easement outside
Nine.
right like that. It's just the way it developed, its history. So,
Cost of litigation versus the amount of the tax.
right. So I'd entertain a motion to remove that, to amend the TIF project redevelopment and remove that parcel.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Cummings,
Yes.
Rapp,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Childers,
Yes.
Wolfersberger.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Okay, FY 26-27 budget discussions. We're starting the budget process for the development for the budget starts on May. First up are mowing services RFPs. We have an exhibit on that. Joe, did you want to kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, this would be the second year that we've done it. I had some good information on how much we spent in comparison to how much we budgeted. You wanted to, Joe? It's in the notes that I provided, the one red. That's it.
Yes.
No, that's it. Yeah, I just put it in there. Yeah. And so, if you all want to, continue doing that, I just need direction to go ahead and publish the RFP for this. And there's a list of the other locations that are currently being mowed as needed by staff internally is included there, but I feel as though we didn't get last year, and this would have been prior to half of the group coming on. Wanted to see if there was any I might be misremembering this a little bit, but there wanted to see if there would be any like positive feedback from the teams or anything like that on. And we didn't get any of that. There's no positive feedback, but I didn't get a lot of complaints either. I mean, there was a little bit, but those got fixed. So I think it's reasonable to continue and publish this again for.
I did hear feedback from soccer people about Hackler Park.
Okay.
Whoever did Hackler Park got the contract for that they did a good job at Hackler Park.
I agree. I mean, driving by there,
It's
very well, very well.
Is it just a mowing service or even fertilizing trees?
That's separate. That's the next item.
Yeah, it's good.
treatments.
So.
Another
Did
reason,
we previously just do it ourselves before the
The mowing, right?
Yeah,
And this is comparable in cost or?
Yes.
the manpower issues?
it's comparable. It was around 44,000 in 2024, but when I look back at my notes, that's not an all-in staff figure, it's just straight wage. It's not, doesn't include what the, you know, like you might have a straight wage of $25, but you factor in benefits 35 or whatever, so it's higher, I just haven't.
And I don't think it included maintenance on all the machinery that you needed.
It didn't capture all of it, it had some of it, some of them.
So it's comparable and it's one less thing.
it's also another reason we went to that, they busted the gearbox on that one. I think the repair of that mower was 17,000 and something. And they wanted to buy another mower for 28,000. So that was the combination of the two was like, let's try something.
That was my question, if we have the equipment, if we just need like seasonal manpower to help with it as opposed to full-time manpower, if you guys have talked about that.
We're also offloading.
We had talked a lot about it.
This is the practice that, you know. Charleston is pretty well known for doing it, but other municipalities have started contracting out mowing because there's no shortage of mowing companies out there that can competitively bid for it. So it's something that a lot of municipalities have looked into more. It's not everybody, there's still people that do it in-house, of course, but, you know, we're in a larger, micropolitan area where there's a lot of mowing companies and stuff like that, so we have access to quite a few.
What about all these areas that we're still moving? Where, that we just, was the decision is to go with the parks, so you have to those, and just keep the smaller stuff, or?
Well, the thought process, this was my thought process, was some of these are not as. If you look at the list there's some quirky things about some of them. And there's a certain level of customization if we do it in-house that we can keep doing. You know, I feel a little bit more comfortable with. You have to define exactly what you want people to, if you're contracting it out, stuff like that. Our folks know what to do around the rail trail as an example, and the different things there, so. And along 150 also, there's some stuff there that's, I just feel more comfortable with us doing that in-house currently. Now, with that said, I put that list there. To your point, that this is all that, there is a decent amount of mowing here. And so. What do we explore these at some point? I mean. Yeah, potentially, maybe we keep having that conversation and explore what that looks like. I mean, like the burning area by the dump site, that's, the public works director told me that they use the skid steer with the mower on the front to get that. That's kind of an odd, you know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah, no, I agree, so we should stay with us, like that area, maybe by the wastewater treatment plant. Depending on what happens there in the future, but, I mean, there's still a lot of mowing on the list.
The rail trail one is interesting. To be totally honest, I mean, we need to really. Think about that one.
So are you saying possibly because we haven't explored it, but possibly because of their quirkiness, that there would probably be added costs for someone else to do it because of how difficult they are, how much more time they're gonna have to spend going around things or whatever as going in straight lines?
Potentially, or they might miss something because it's not clear who's doing what type of thing as well. I might be overthinking that part of it, you know, it could be fine. But we would just have to clearly define exactly what they're supposed to get with that, but I'm definitely not opposed to exploring more locations. But the parks were the easier, I would say,
Sure,
easier
yeah.
ones to offload,
And we were within budget, that's
but yeah,
what these are, I mean,
Yep.
just saying like if we were to stay with that dollar amount in the budget, even if we added something that I wouldn't.
I feel fine with that. Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable with the same dollar amount. Well, no, that is, yes.
It was dry here, you know, so. We were fortunate enough in that aspect.
You think we're gonna
I don't
go
think
with that? Because, I mean, it's looking pretty dry.
no, but
So if you all are, if you want, if there's like a location in there that you sure want added to the list to get bids on, I can put something together. Or if you're okay with what we did last year, I just need the blessing to go ahead and publish the RFP, and then we'll bring bid tabulation back with what we get.
Need a motion to publish the RFP.
I mean, personally, I'm comfortable with what we did last year, and then later this year. Maybe we have a conversation again about this list.
Okay.
Later in the year before, and then look at it that way.
I agree.
I have a couple of years of information to look at the cost.
So we have a motion for that.
Motion to approve the RFP.
Or the bids.
Yeah, you wanna make a motion to publish the RFP, then I'll get that knocked out.
Second, I guess, right? Is that what you did? You made a motion on it?
All right, any discussion?
Rapp,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Childers,
Yes.
Wolfersberger,
Yes.
Cummings.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Next item, along the same vein, field treatment RFP.
Yes, like the mayor said, along the same vein, this has been a topic that past boards have debated even before I got here. And a couple of years ago, I would say 2 or 3 years ago, the decision was made to split locations of who does what types of treatment. And one company that more so specializes in athletic fields and recreational type fields, has taken the athletic fields, basically. Baseball fields, yes. And then the other company is a traditional lawn care company, so they've done the other portions that they didn't get, so it's the same thing of we aren't getting this is, as I found, this is extremely subjective. You all just have to go look at the grass and make a decision yourself, if you like it or not, I guess, you know, and other than that, we haven't been getting, the teams haven't been beating the door down with compliments by any means. But they haven't necessarily been complaining as much about the grass quality either, so maybe that's the positive that we're gonna get from it, so.
Nobody ever really compliments it.
Yeah, we'll see that.
They're not complaining though, that's the compliment.
Yeah, that's the positive.
They were.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like now we've done with what we've done over the past year or two, and no news is good news.
Yeah, so maybe that's the way we look at it. And if you all are continuing with that practice, we'll go ahead, same with the mowing, go ahead and publish the RFP and then bring back a bid tabulation and then get that approved.
I'm fine with that, make a motion to recreate an RFP for the fertilizer and be done with it.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Walsh,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Childers,
Yes.
Wolfersberger,
Yes.
Cummings,
Yes.
Brad.
Yes,
Motion passed 6-0.
And the last of these three for at least for tonight, is proposed animal control contract. Joe, you brought this up before that we've had an animal control contract in the past. In years past, it was based on, the cost was based on population. I don't know, when did we stop that?
So Debbie looked up some data here for me. It seemed like in May 20 or fiscal year 15-16, we spent $1,233 with them. And then fiscal year 16-17 it was 2,365, and then 17-18 was 2,365, and then it appears that the contract was ended May 2018 to May 2019.
So it's been 6 years. The reason we're bringing it up is because animal control Champaign County Animal Control has revamped their contract system. It's no longer based on population. It's based on a per call basis, correct?
Yes.
So we were paying $23.65 a year, and they came out to calls no matter if you had 50 calls or 3 calls. However, now it's per call basis. That's where some of this data, this is data from MECAD, right?
Yes.
It's the data from MECAD.
Yes.
Based on what's kind of calls in the village and in the township area. You've seen the proposed contract, so we wanted to bring it up for discussion.
I'd like to mention, I went along about when I first got on the board. And that was one of the things on health and safety that I explored. At the time, we went from paying animal control in the county about $600 or $800. And then you got a remission for the fine, your share of the fine. And it went from, we budgeted to like $1,000 or about maybe $2,000. But then they wanted to like $14,000 or $15,000. And so what we did is, I tried to broker several different things, but basically we paid for them to, board the animals. And then we had somebody that picked them up on their own. As a little FYI, it's still true, but if it's captured outside the town, the city limits, there's no charge. I mean, they don't charge anybody outside the city limits. At the time, I had a discussion because there was like 9 dogs, 11 cats and 1 chicken. And the representative from the animal control was very sincere about, they wanted to find homes for those animals. I said, okay, you got my attention. What about the chicken? You gonna take them to KFC right up the road? And, but anyway, the end result was that, we just went for paid the impoundment, which I don't know, it's probably the 1,300, whatever it was. And then, didn't pay the other. And I think other communities opted out because they had, there's like a bunch of, they went from not paying a whole lot to a bunch. So they said, we're done with you. And some communities had their own assets. Rantoul is one sticks in my mind. They had a facility that could take care of, I don't know what they're doing now, but as far as that goes, all that goes up. I mean, I'm not comfortable going ahead and giving a bunch of money in anticipation. That being said, I think more than the 2,000, we might up it to 4 or 5, something like that, and maybe budget for more. But if they try strong arm you, there's a lot of them that aren't going to pay it anyway. So that's just, I just thought I'd give a little history and background. And that was one reason before that, when I got on the board, I didn't take a salary. And after all that running around and everything, I said, you know, I put a lot of miles off here. So I started taking the token salary after that. But anyway, there's a little history, what's going on. I'm comfortable giving several thousand, maybe budgeting for more, but not offering a lot.
So just a little clarification, you're not gonna offer them anything, you're gonna pay on a per service basis.
Okay.
So this isn't a gift,
Mhm.
it's not as like a contribution for the electronic recycling place, this is a service contract.
Mhm.
So if they provide X number of services, that's what you're.
Well, we're not saying about front, we're just budgeting for
Yes.
those fees.
Pay as you go.
Pay as you go, pay as they do things,
Okay.
so pay as they respond to these calls and nuisances.
So with no pay, we can budget, keep it in our budget if we don't use it.
Correct.
Okay.
It's not like it's a subscription that we have to pay by, you know what I mean? It's not that.
Well, that part I misunderstood. Sure, I'm comfortable budgeting even more if we're not having to send them money.
Yeah, it's on a per service basis.
Who makes the calls? Do we make the calls or does like the citizen make a call?
If citizen calls in, there's this is an example we had from, you know, all the months blurred together, I don't know how long ago it was, but some gentleman walking down the sidewalk and the dog's loose and runs up, starts chasing after him and stuff like that, it doesn't bite him.
Mhm.
And there's nothing for them to do, so they would call and then somebody could respond at that point, basically, and deal with whatever needs to be dealt with. So that type of thing, it'd just be a call to Metcat, and then Metcat would assign it, basically.
Okay.
Now, this doesn't include if the sheriff's office calls. And they come out and respond to the sheriff's office, you would not get charged for that, right? The sheriff initiates the call.
It's an assist to the sheriff's department.
Sheriff's department. So let's say they're doing a search warrant, and they come across a ugly dog trying to do that, they can call animal control, come and get the dog. And it's not on us.
Got it.
And in the last quarterly report I got from the sheriff, you're talking about. It was 9 for a quarter, so let's say 35 to 40 calls that they have animal calls. Anything over that, we kind of lose control because the citizens themselves can call 911.
It's just plain. You know, I mean, I know that like it says like raccoon and cat and dog, but like if it's a dog here in the village, then do we have a fee to help recoup that cost to us if there's a homeowner or a pet owner that's not being responsible?
In the contract, they talk about, there's like a surrender fee portion, things like that, if somebody abandons. And then I think you have to pay to get the animal out, I believe, but I might be incorrect, but I would need to double check on that portion of it. Like if they pick your dog up and you have to go get it out of the impoundment facility, I think you have to pay. I think there's a fee, but I have to clarify that.
So
So
what do you think that as far as like lost pets, and you think that in town we do a good job of communicating that and figuring that?
Oh,
out?
it's just one this week.
I know,
Yeah.
and it happens a lot, and that's what I'm just saying, like, but if it's something where it's like a chronic problem or a chronic nuisance where your neighbors are calling and like. Should that be the village's responsibility if you were a responsible pet?
Yeah, do we have a pet ordinance?
we do for like, yeah, there's.
Nuisance calls and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a service, so I mean, like, I guess if you're talking. Theoretically, if you live next to somebody with a nuisance animal and the person doesn't do anything about it. As it stands, there's no real outlet for them. Because we don't have a service agreement, that type of thing.
Right, but if there's a service agreement, then the village is then paying for that.
you know. It's a new service, so
Yeah.
there would be, so I mean, I guess if you're, as an elected official, you can decide, okay, is this a level of service that we want to provide to our citizens? It's like a quality of life thing.
I'm just saying that, do we wanna be spending village money to enforce people who are not? I don't know, being good neighbors or taking care of pets, like there should maybe be a fallback for that.
If it gets expensive, Mark, then we can take them to court or to recover those costs. They violated the.
You can fine people for violating the ordinance, but the fine has no connection to what it costs you.
Right, it's just X fine.
Yeah.
Predetermined.
Yeah, it's a cost doing business for a municipality.
But in my experience, it's the boarding fees that get you. It's not necessarily the response. It's how long we're keeping a dog. If it bites somebody, you gotta keep it for so many days, and that's where the costs really start adding up, is if they're keeping a dog.
Yeah, in theory, you're letting your dog run around and then they pick up the dog and it's a couple $100 to pick up the dog. And then in theory, you're gonna get reimbursed because of that. But when they don't pick up the dog, it's on your dime and there's nothing you can do about it.
You're gonna get more calls with this, but I do think. We ought to budget for it, there's gonna be people complaining about a barking dog or one thing or another, or. They couldn't do anything before, but, and it may be worthwhile to budget. $5,000 or $10,000 for it, just see, if you don't use it, so be it. We used to get a remittance for every one that they find. I mean, they would charge you, but you got a remittance part of the fine. I don't know if they'll do that or not.
Supposed to, if they fine, there's supposed to be a local, like a traffic ticket, supposed to get the.
And to your point, just to build on what you were saying, you don't get reimbursed for fire or police or EMS or, things, you know what I mean? So it's you just gotta, I guess, measure the level of service you wanna, provide, I guess. That's the way I view the decision on it, but it's from my perspective, it's like everything. You could have two come in 1 week and then not have anything for 6 months or whatever. But whenever you have somebody that has a legitimate, thing that they're dealing with, it doesn't feel like good service not to be able to have some sort of options for them.
I'm for it, we can monitor it, and if it gets to be too much,
Talk about
we
it.
could talk about it again.
Well, should we do
Support approving the contract and then we deal with the budget,
approving the contract and budget
whatever.
$5,000 or $10,000?
Yeah,
That way you got it covered.
What are these fees that are on here, Joe? Like each line has a fee on it.
I can see that
It's in the packet I sent, like, what is this? Can you explain this, what it looks like, why it looks like
This
it's?
one can just read out on the back pages. of the-
Those are, so like, this is their printout of different calls and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I think they tried to apply like what a billing would look like. Does that make sense? Cause I asked them like, what would a billing situation look like? So I don't think that. If you see like a dollar amount or something like that,
So most of these are,
These will be fees to us, right?
right?
right, and that's where, so I guess that's my question is because we just. Somebody just said that the assistant police. Would not be charged, but they're being charged looking at this. So I would like to confirm that.
Well, that's, they applied a fee to this, they're not charging them currently, but they applied like what that fee would be if they just got the call type of thing. It's kind of like what I tried to do was pull out, I wanted to like see a real bill, like, can you give me a real bill? For what it would look like, so we, and it was very difficult, because we're just dealing with hypotheticals on this.
Sure, but if this is all hypothetical, then why do they use that one? Why is the assistant police in here in charge?
It's a
Yeah.
billing,
Yeah, holiday, yeah.
which is why. it's
If we're not being charged for the police calling for animal control,
Right.
why would they put it in the bill?
I don't think that's what that means, but I can clarify that. I think they just put that in there as an illustration of what something like that might,
My
a
cost.
call like that might cost type of thing. I don't think that's what they were necessarily meaning by that.
So I guess my question is,
It should be zero for us in that example, right?
Right, yes, but they put a fee
But they
in
just-
just to show what that type of like. If you called in and you had a fight. Or something like that, and you called in a fight,
no, this isn't for the bite, this is for
The
the
police.
holiday line right under St. Joseph that says assist police.
There's another one in your mom.
Well, everything there's 2025 too, so that's.
There's a couple in here that have fees for assist police, and we just said we're not being charged for them.
I'm not looking at that sheet, I don't know what sheet.
I don't know what page it's on.
It's
Five,
the second and third last
six,
sheets.
three,
The blue line sheets.
like page 4. About halfway down,
So
and
there's
they give the St. Joseph section.
so much 1/1/25, this one, and then also.
Steve, I don't have an answer for you on that exactly.
No, that's fine, no, I didn't expect you to have an answer, but I just wanted to make sure we clarify, like,
Sure, we can.
we're not getting charged, like, it's a police call for them to come out, that shouldn't be an argument.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I think, I don't know, I gotta clarify why that's on there, but the other ones was just. If you get a bite call, you could,
Yeah, totally understand by call,
Yes.
that's not a problem.
sorry, I missed that police one on there, I didn't see that one on there.
There's a couple of them, there's one, that one under holiday, and then on the next page, there's one under just regular, normal hours.
And are those deputies that are seeing a dog or a cat that's loose and then calling it in themselves? Because they
Yeah,
wouldn't be
it's-
calling in for assistance on that.
So, it depends, because, well, another thing I'd like maybe to ask is like, if it's only. Police or if it's fire EMS as well, they're calling for them. Because I think there are situations where. We have called for animal control because of. The family's pet will not let us in the house.
Right.
So,
I can clarify that.
Yeah, I'm looking here quick in the contract and I don't see that addressed.
I mean, we're not voting or anything tonight, right?
No,
So just,
we have time.
Let's get answers to those questions, but I think it's a service we should be providing
I agree,
at some level.
yeah, I mean, I'm not discouraged by any of it, but I just want to make sure we're.
Is this like our summary from last year, or is this something that they made up, just kind of built to show?
Yes, it's a made up.
It's not actually anything related to.
So they use real data,
That's what I'm asking.
right? They use real data, but it's,
So summary of $5,000. Like, if last year. Looking at what was this,
Well, here's the thing, what we paid last year,
that's it.
nothing.
nothing.
So that's why I say, I don't think there's anything wrong with budgeting a little bit more. use it just in case, because they're gonna get missed all.
And then like the township stuff that's on here, that doesn't, that's right.
They go to next month or next meeting. They find out.
I'll need to look at this with Mark and double check. I'm sure in some of your other communities, you probably talked about this revised agreement. I don't know.
We have,
Okay, so let me talk with Mark and then I can get some answers to the,
they gave you some sort of projection on how many calls you've had over the past few years?
Yeah,
that's what we're, yeah.
Yeah. I don't have anything to add. Everybody's got the same concerns you've got. I'd say it's a mix of, and we don't have a choice, we have to have that service in the community. Who do we call if we've got an interest dog? To, well, let's just talk about it in another meeting. Because we're worried about the risk and the cost.
Is there anything in the contract that concerns you? Have you looked at the contract yet, or do you?
I did look at the contract, but I have to admit, I looked at it like 4 or 5 months ago and I don't remember it.
That's what I'm saying, I just need,
Yeah.
I'll say, we'll get answers to these questions and then, bring it back for more discussion.
All right. That's the last of the new business. Is there any old business? I see none. FYI, the township tonight passed their $100,000 donation to the community building, so that fund is now up to about 1.9, which is really good. Do you have anything else, Joe, that you want
Not at this time.
to, any of the board members have anything you want to add?
Yes, I do. Wanted to talk a little bit about the sports complex, give a little history. I don't know what all happened during the time when they passed the sports complex for building it and all that. That being said, you know, I didn't see it, even that, I come on board after that, but it's doing stuff for the community. The thing was, the telecommunication tax was supposed to cover that, and to my knowledge, I don't think it has covered it since day one. So any improvements that's gone on out there has come out of the general fund. We're fortunate getting money from the state for the marijuana tax. We had, let's see, the marijuana tax, the gambling tax, and then the telecommunication tax. And then we passed the 0.5% to go ahead and take care of that. It costs about $175,000 for the park. You don't get anywhere near the fees, nor do I expect to get those. You get about 5% return. And the reason I bring this up, we're talking about the community center. We just went through, we turned down a power purchase agreement to build out the sports complex. Because if you wanted to build a ball field. Now we're talking about building a community center out there. With no source of funding. They don't come through, so that's probably $250,000 a year or more than that, really probably close to 3. So you're building a community center that's gonna have liabilities well in excess of that if they can't do on their own. So if you build it there, you could inherit that with a $500,000 loan. Now, we're fortunate with those new taxes coming in, and we directed them strictly to the parks to take care of funding on that. And that's resolved, because every time, you know, they come in, they want to buy some soccer nets or something. You know, there's always a hesitation, do we have the money for it? Now, I don't know if it'll cover it 100%, it's a wait and see since the first year. But my thing was, if you need to do some stuff, there's some money to operate with. If the community building, to me, it's one of the worst decisions this board ever made. I'll stand firm with that. Matter of fact, I had my mind to go another direction, but you didn't hear from any other communities that said these or any of them. They need to come in here and say, when you say it's sold out, or they rent it for $50 or $1,000. I mean, you don't really know any of the information. I had intended to come in and make a motion to reconsider. Now, I'm going to wait and give an opportunity opportunity to go ahead and bring a little more information. But this is a moment, you know, we've wondered how to fund the sports complex all this year. You guys have made a decision to put this building to jeopardy. And how many drainage projects did you get? How many other things? So now if we end up with, and I hope they can come through with what they say. But the reality is they've got $153,000, not 1.9 million. They got IOUs or, you know, a pledge, but they don't have that money. I would like to see them build on another property. That way, if you got in a financial bind, you're not on village property where you're going to have to inherit. So you need to look at this as the liability this is going to have. It's just, well, I was mad for quite a while, I'll be honest with you. I'll wait. You guys still feel that way? You might convince me with other presentations. But I spoke my piece. I don't know. The majority of guys from state agencies or with the government, we look at it a different way. I can't do it. You know, and I'm adamant against it. You know, and I'll bring it up again to reconsider and to see what I'm gonna do then. Wanted to share that with you so you guys can think about it. You can look at the costs and say, is this in the best interest of the village? I mean, just on a local, the gathering place up here, it's closed. And you're wondering how much this might have affected them closing. I mean, when you're competing with the government. So that being said, you're welcome to ask me a question. I've just stated the fact in my sentence.
The gathering place, is that the one right down this road here?
We had a small meeting that
Okay.
they had all the communities come in there and they catered it.
We rented that out a couple of different times. Just
Yeah.
my personal family, for graduation parties and whatnot. You're, in my opinion, you're talking about a building that is what, maybe 800 square feet max in there.
I don't know.
It's small.
So
It's small, it's small, but it's small.
right. So what you're like, and just in my opinion, and my personal opinion, being a wedding DJ, I do on average in between 25 and 30 weddings a year, and I turn down just as many, if not more. Of course, I'm going to different venues all over the place. People are going to flock, in my opinion, to the St. Joe Community Building to have somewhere that is less expensive instead of going to a farm.
What do you
venue.
consider less expensive?
Not $8,000. That's what a lot of these places will charge for one night, $8,000. If you charge $2,000 a night, then you can do anywhere from 4 to 8 weddings a month. And there's people are getting married every weekend. Even I haven't found a slow period yet. So that's just my opinion. I think it's going to be beneficial for other events as well. Like it's called a community building for a reason. Everybody can rent it. I would say if it were a weeknight or maybe even a Friday night, have a separate rate other than Saturday.
What does Sydney charge?
I have no clue. No clue.
You know what, do you think at Oakwood, what they charge?
Nope. And that's something that we could look at and see what they
The
charge.
St. Joe Rec Foundation knows what they all charge. We have copies of all their contracts. And we created a report based on we visited 11 different communities and looked at their community centers. So that data is out there and I can get that to you. And I understand your concern, Art, completely. But I think you're way off on how much it's been. $300,000 a year is not what it's going to take to run that.
Well, and I'm okay.
Nowhere near
Your presenter that put on that, it really didn't get any information out, but I made mention about, you know, vandalism at that. It's unattended. We do have vandalism at the sports complex. You had the restrooms or like, and there's no windows there. And the place is winterized and drained, put away, and it still gets vandalized. Another thing. So now here's a facility that's unattended. Stuff's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. And the costs for out there are lower because you're not running furnaces and air conditioners and all that. So you're gonna have other costs, cleanup and all that. It's a little bit more involved than a cement building, you know. So
Well,
I've seen-
when you rent it out, you charge them a cleanup cost as well. So they pay that.
I guess I would have felt a lot better if they could have done it on their own initiative. You know, got it started with their own, but it had to use city money to go ahead and do this. And we've got the sewer plant, you know, And I predict you'll be using taxpayer money and city assets to fund this thing for perpetuity.
I've seen, going back to the vandalism, I've seen vandalism happen there on a Sunday afternoon when it's daylight, when that place is full of people for youth football or even baseball. Kids get rowdy in there, they're unsupervised. I don't think that the community building is really going to draw kids to go over there and to hang out. There's no playground equipment, nothing like that. I think it is within proximity. It is close. I'll give you that for sure. But I just don't see a lot of vandalism and damage happening out there. That's just
Well,
my personal.
There again, I hope I'm wrong. I'm just looking at the cost. I've heard it come up different times. I wonder why on the sports complex, they did this. We did this out funding and all that. And I think about some of the struggle we've had to go ahead and redo some drainage and one thing. How much was the expenditure to that caused to change your direction in the village? Are you gonna be able to do this street? Are you gonna be able to do sidewalk? How about lights, on the sidewalk, and different things like that. And like I said, nothing's changed my mind about it. So, but I hope that you guys can get the research, and if I get it, I may change my mind. I'll be admitted. Right now, it's not. I'm pretty adamant about that. So I'll share that with you, and we'll move along now to the next thing.
Appreciate it.
Anybody else? Joe, do you have anything? Oh, I already asked you. Mark? There we go. I don't think we need a motion to.
No,
I'll make a motion to enter into
Oh,
executive
that's
session
right.
for the limited purpose of discussing imminent litigation pursuant to 5 ILCS 120-2
Second. Right?
Okay, Peters,
Yes.
Childers,
Yes.
Wolfersberger,
Yes.
Cummings,
Yes.
Rapp,
Yes.
and Walsh.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.